Hi guys, we've been recording bird sounds in the Padarn Park in Wales now for 6 months. Let's go and pick up the rig and we'll talk about what we've learned. When we started, all the trees in the woodland were like skeletons and it was grim, and there were no plants, there was just moss. But now we can see the trees have loads of foliage, plants are coming through. There's like bracken and more bracken and brambles. There's other woodland plants. Here you can see all the undergrowth. It's getting thicker. And we've been recording in multiple places in this woodland. So on average, the woods is about 1.5 miles to 2 miles long by about half a mile wide on average. And it's very, very diverse. Now this area we're going into now is the very first kind of places that we started at. So let's get in. It's my marker, that big tree. I've been here so many times, I know it now. Here we go guys. Here's our drop rig. It's all safe and sound. And if you remember, if you've watched my videos, you might remember I've used this site when there's a high probability of rain, which it was last night. And you may be able to see that it's raining now. Finding a good location to protect yourself from the rain is really, really good. It's really handy. This site has worked very well for me. Though it's been raining, you can see that the wind jammers are dry. There's a little bit of water here, but they are basically dry. Microphone placements can be dictated basically by what the weather's like. So if it's raining, you want it somewhere where you can get a little bit of cover. You might notice around me that the leaves on this tree here, it's actually quite windy, although it's not as windy here as it is in the open. This hill behind me does give a little bit of protection, which brings us around to one of the other areas that we've learned about recording for 6 months in this woods, is getting to know your environment, getting to know the weather. And the wind, we've learned, can affect your recordings of bird sounds if the wind speed is over 15 miles an hour. You can hear the birds that are close to you, but when it gets to the mid-range and the far range bird sounds, it's drowned out by the wind. The average wind speed last night was supposed to have been 12 miles an hour, and I think it was that. And it did say that in the morning the wind speed was going to pick up, but I think we've got the dawn okay. And the wind speed now is probably around 20 miles an hour in the open, and it's going to be going up to about 40 in an hour or so's time. And the other major thing that I've learned putting out these drop rigs is your drop rig security, putting it in a place where it's potentially not going to get taken. So these woodlands are public, anyone can walk in, and I also live in a tourist zone. We get absolutely swamped with people. They just mill around through the woods, doing whatever they're doing. And you want to put it in a place where hopefully people aren't going to notice it, or put it in a place that's a little bit awkward to get to. So far, that's worked. But we also use a little bit of camouflage. I've noticed that usually it's only the wind protectors that are sticking out. I found the grey ones here blend in more with woodland features than say black or brown ones. The only thing that sticks out here really is the black tape. I bought brown tape, green tape and grey tape. I must remember to pack them in my bag the next time I go out. And the other one is hide in your drop rig bag, the recorder. So in here, I've got it hidden in there, you just couldn't see it. So far my camouflaging has got better as time's gone on, and as of yet no one has found the drop rig, no one has taken it. So now we get to some of the technical issues. Is the recorder and the power bank still turned on? Let's have a look. And yes they are, here we go folks. The only technical issue we've had throughout the whole 6 months of recording in the Padarn Park has been a damaged power lead. One of these, although it wasn't one of these, it was basically getting twisted in here. We eventually solved it, and I concluded that a right angle USB-C end of a cable is required going into our box that keeps our Zoom F3 in. As for recording, all the recordings are amazing. The Zoom F3 is a brilliant recorder. It's robust, it's small, and there's no self-noise, which is brilliant. And it's relatively cheap. And the microphones, the Clippies, again, relatively cheap, really high quality sound. I've been recording here in the Padarn Park for the last 6 months, but also at another site, and I've been doing other recordings, and it's been absolutely amazing, no problems whatsoever. The combination is pretty much bomb-proof, it's very reliable, and I've always got a really good sound. That combo is highly recommended from my perspective. I've been doing bird surveys, but have I learnt a lot about birds? Yes, I have. A lot of it totally unexpected. You might notice now behind me or around me that there's basically no bird sounds at all. That normally happens when the weather is changing to go bad. It's been boiling hot for a few weeks, and over the last few days the temperature's dropped, and today it's raining. The wind is picking up. It's as if the birds know it. They can sense it in the air, and they may have just not bothered to get up and they've just stayed in bed. But I've learnt many other things as well, and I'll tell you about that when we do the 6-month recording from the other site we're at, up at Kevin D. There's two distinctly different features of these recordings. One is the type of Woodlands, but the other is that in the Padarn Park I'm recording all over the park, right down the 1.5 miles, half a mile wide, all the different range. And the other site I'm recording roughly around one site within 100 metres of a feature in that forest. And I've been noticing differences between recording in these two different ways. And the difference in the park here is that depending on where you are in the park, you have different species of birds. I mean, roughly they're nearly all the same, the really common ones. And then depending on what kind of trees you've got and undergrowth, you'll get a few that come in that are specialised to those areas. It's something good just to generally notice. But I've also been keeping a spreadsheet. I try to identify the birds as best I can, then put them in a spreadsheet and start looking for patterns. We'll have a better idea at the end of a whole year, but I've noticed some patterns moving from winter through spring, basically getting into summer now. And one of the patterns was the magpies, the jays, the crows, and the birds of prey all stopped calling out and disappeared as we moved into spring. And now they're starting to call out again occasionally. It's almost as if they went off somewhere, kept quiet, had their chicks, and now those chicks have fledged and the birds are starting to call and come out again. That's just one little pattern. Up at the other side we're seeing different patterns. There's different birds up there to down here, but we'll talk about that when we get there. But for now, I'm going to pack this stuff away. I'll put the Dusk and the Dawns in the Padarn Park playlist, and if there's anything interesting, I'll leave it at the end of this video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.